And here we go. This is Baruch Fleischman, Tikkun Elevator Kolel. We're learning the Sifra Tzniuto. This material is not necessarily all that familiar to everybody, but it's very, very deep. We're going into the Dikna Mechimanusa, which is a word that was used in the Sifra Tzniuta by Rabbi Shimon. The question is, what does it mean? It means the beard of faith. So he says we're going to deal with in this three different categories. Atzilus Nikra Amuna, that Atzilus itself is called Amuna. The next one is that Yichud base of Hafchim is Chug. So in other words, you take two opposites like Chesed and Gevurah, the things that have nothing to do with each other and actually antagonistic, but be able to make a Yichud between them. And then the next one is Amuna Begilu V'Chasoga. So he says faith, the relevation of it, to be able to reach faith, to want to reach. Biurim no safe bedikne b'hamanusa, so we're going to get different things. So I'm going to go through this. I'm going to skip the first a little bit of what I did because the camera, once again, it's working. So I don't know if it's a wire. I'm not technically oriented. I'm not sure exactly what to do here. So I'm not sure if it's a wire that's loose, and sometimes it pulls on it, and it just stops the camera work, but I move my hand over, it was still okay. So he said, Bebir in dikna mechmanusa, rare bebir hamalushoda lefi arizal, shenis boyer of pi divir arizal, amuvoyim besefer ruach David. Now down here, down at the bottom, number Aleph, he has a little of a richus about the sefer ruach David. But I'm not going to go into it right now. I think it was just a trip into a person who was probably important, but I don't know what to do with exactly. It's a little richus. So he says, he said Sefer Emes the Yaakov, also over there, it's another same idea. It says also, talks about Emes the Yaakov, has a little bit in it. So these were all written on the Idra Rabbah. So the Idra Rabbah really deals a great deal with the beard of Eric Anpin. So the Eric Anpin who Rosh Atzilus. So over there, that's what it says. It says it's the head, the very beginning of Atzilus. What it means that beyond that is no longer Atzel, it's not next to, but it is what's beyond that. And so to understand that situation and that interface between those two things, that's the Amunah. That's my thing. This is my take on this. Because all of these, if you learn the Idra Rabbah, I guess to get here, you have to have learned the Idra Rabbah so that you know some of the words that are over there. Because all of that shefa that's coming from the deepest channels to the Ein Sof Baruch Hu all reveal themselves. They're all hidden. And they are revealed in the beard of Eric Anpin. So since we see that Tzilus is called by the name of Muna, Nimsa Shadikna de Eric Anpin who Rosh Muna. So therefore that's where that faith that there's something beyond the beard. That the beard is the beginning of the revelation of these lights. Now, the thing is like this about the lights, if you learn the Idris, or you didn't. So the thing about the lights is a light. We use the word light as if we understand what that word means. But in fact, the word light that we're talking, the white light we're talking about is a light of nothing. Now, it may be a light of enlightenment, intellectual. So we can picture, and I try to picture in my mind, where you're at when you're saying this. So what's beyond any closeness that you could possibly have to the splendor of the Ein Sof Baruch Hu. So this is the closest you could get, but after that requires a Muna to try to reach higher. So he said that Rick Anpin, who Rosh Muna. Let's go on. Or Yakar, so look over there. Should be your convers the Shanda Dikna de Munosam. Because in that Amuna, all of its Silus is incorporated. Adkan. Of the Indian that Silus should Nikra Mechamenusa, so now we call it Mechamenusa. Ray Od or Yakar over there. There's more Shabir Vizel Shona, so he explains over there. We still got a camera. Betel Devarov. So he said for Manusa. Manusa goes with the word Atzilus. Shabo Iker Hamuna, because that's where you find the real root of Amuna. The sheath of Matzilim that has the ability to be able to draw together. Shituf means to partner, but it means to draw together Matzilim, all of those generations that come out from Matzilus. There is a power of oneness there. So actually, he hadn't said that. I read ahead. So, V'ha'inyan is bar b'sefer Avodas HaKodesh. So this is explained in the sefer called Avodas HaKodesh. V'zel l'shon v'chein ambrach b'midrash shel Rashbi olav v'shalom. Keteris kashir kishirin de milhunosa adkan, that the Keteris is a tying of different knots, in other words, bringing things back together again, the milhunosa, all done in faith. So we have this also when we're praying to nothing. We have no idea where God is. And that's because it's not physical. It's very difficult for us to be able to get beyond the physical. So he said, that the Imanusa is called, Atzilus is called by that name, Shehu Ha'alukus. This is where the Alukus is inside of it. Because this is the real Amuna, where you reach out and you're reaching for the Alukus, which is in everything. So God forbid that a person should think that things are really separated. Like if you read Marx, and he talks about dialectical materialism. Things are flying around, all kinds of forces. They bang into each other. This really has some semblance, to what the Ari says. Except for this, he has no God. They're just bad. He said they came out of nowhere. So, well, wait a minute. They come out of nowhere. That is where everything comes out of nowhere. So let's go on. I don't know. It's a dialectical materialism. He just thinks there's nothing out there but these forces. That's the part. He doesn't see the cause. He doesn't see Yud Kei Vav Kei. That's not part of his equation. And there is real no possibility of connecting this world with the world beyond in his godless depiction. Although some of the parts of it actually fit into Kabbalah, which is what is the banging together of forces. But he has them random. And here we see that this is all a plan. All the intention of the Yetzer Baruch Hu. So don't believe in something that's separated from him, and from the real essence of that godliness. Except for the one, the Yachid, who's able to bring everything together from every side. John. So now we explain in this is the language. This is what it means. Is that there is the place where physicality, which is Atzilus, which is, why is it physical? It's not physical in our sense at all, but it has some separation. But at the point, it is the interface of the hidden, which is Olam Atzilus. Olam means hidden. The hidden world of Atzilus. In other words, it's hidden from the light of the Ein Sof, but where the two of them actually touch. So they're actually together. That's Atzilus. Atzilus is the place of actually, and therefore, what is beyond Atzilus and the conception of it is going to be the Amunah. It's not separated from it, it's outside of it. And that it is really the essence of this godly Shanachnu lo, that we belong to him. La'am, we are to him, we are his people. V'hu London Elokim, and he's our leader. The saint of love. So when we're praying and we're doing the avodah of the Torah mitzvahs, and learning, he says it's always directed at him, ki anachto amma v'avada, because we're his people, we're his servants. Adkan. V'chein rei v'ferish ramaz al-akdamas hasoher. So he says, what's going on over there? Shibir ha'inyan bekitzav v'zel l'shana Allah go mechumenosa to enter into this area called faith, which we're saying over here is called Atzilus. Who's so the Atzilus? Shesham kol amunosenu biyachid or biyachid. Ha'olamed amistata shama. So biyachid, I read it wrong. So he said, Shesham kol amunosenu. B'yachid, the Holomos of the Yachid, the one and only of the Holomim, of making the maker of the hiddennesses, Hamistater Shama, which is hidden there. The Ihu v'hivui chad bahon, because he and his, I guess you would say, his life force are all one there. Now, let me get a little drink here, and I'll be right back. Okay, I got my drink and I'm back, because here we have another section. Different ideas are going to come up here. So this is tying together two opposites. This is a new idea. The opposites of Chesed and Gevurah. Chug is Chesed and Gevurah. In other places, he says, like the Zohar, and also in the Arizal. Here they're saying that the Menosa, and so he says, the Zohar says this, and also the Ari says this. So who have you been listening to up to this time? So what there was going on in Atzilus over there, he says, so it has to do with mating two opposites. Chibur chasadim, kindnesses, flowings, and gevuros, which are constrictions. Besod yichud dacha v'nok, and it's the same idea of male and female, opposites. Rebe idra rabba, look over v'zel l'shana v'chein da is basemes b'dechura. So this, when it becomes perfumed with the male, when she becomes perfumed with the male, v'sa'aviv klala da adam, and it makes, when you put the two of them together, now the perfume means that they mate. They actually come into complete oneness. And this makes the klal, which is called Adam. V'dohu klal de mechumenusa. So this is the general category of what we call faith. What? In my mechumenusa, the begave ishtakul called mechumenusa, because in that relationship, that area that's able to put Zohar v'nuk together, that combining, is the place where all faith can get along. So you see, all faith is found. So it means like this, is that when you see, because I have some background in counseling psychology, is that when you see males and females not getting along, and so they're having a lot of trouble because one represents Gevurah and the other one represents Chasadim, and the two don't match, but somehow there's a drive within them that brings them together. And that is the place of the faith. Obir b'sefer Ruach David, it says over there, b'shem Arizal, and in regards to whom are inside of him is all of this emunah. There is that power that is pulling them together. Pirish mechamenusa nikra kibur chasada v'gevuras. That's what mechamenusa means. This is that actual joining together of these two opposites, male and female, also known as chasada v'gevuras ad kan ein sham. So over there he gives us a reference. Now let me see. Let's just drop down on it and pick it up real quick. So we still have camera. So I don't know. I got the camera in the right place at the right time. He says. So he says, "V'rei gam b'sefer halikutim." He says, "V'zel d'shano, reisha shirusa dehumanusa, pirisha inyan." So he wants to explain this inyan. Ki reisha dehumanusa ku zer anpen. That is zer anpen. Ki yesh dinim sham, because there's dinim there. In other words, there's zer anpen. It has dinim within him. Those are the dinim that are going to go to the nukva of zer anpen. So there they have dinim sham, and also chasadim, and then you have also this concept of mechumenusa ad kan. But the kevel shezer anpin kolu chem b'chasadim v'chem b'gevuros, the ha'indah of dinim, that he has dinim within him, v'chem nikva zer anpin b'shem mechumenusa. Okay, that's what it said. V'chein rei bezoyer. So we're gonna go back up. Yeah, we're up. We're on. Okay. V'chein rei bezoyer v'zel l'shon v'ronza de menosa mezuzah. You really want to know an example? I'll tell you an example of this is the mezuzah. Klal dacha v'nukva kachada. Because they incorporated in the mezuzah, you didn't realize this, that in that long box, which is really in the shape of the letter Vav, I'm thinking, he says inside of that you have two opposites. One is the Zohar, is the male side, and the other is the Nuksvat Kachada, but they're living together, they're together in one scroll, which once again, the scroll is in the form of a Vav also when you roll it up. A Bir Bezoyer HaRekiya Sham. It spends over the Pirish. So he says, Sheyesh Mezuzah based Parshas. The Mezuzah has two Parshas. Parsha Shema hu Parshas V'hoya im Shemoah. One is the Parsha of Shema, and the other one is V'hoim Shemoah. Shehem based Itrin, Chasadim, and Gevuras, which are two Itrin. Chasadim and Gevuras, the Itr of Chasadim, which is the font from which the Chasadim flow, and Gevuras opposite. Chesed is male, Dochar. V'avata goes with the word, and I will love. V'hoya Gevura, V'hoya, that parak is Gevura. It's female. So he says, talks about punishments and straightening things up and how you're going to have to get things right. But they're together. Adkan. That's the whole idea. Is that the mezuzah of the mezuzah? That's the secret of the mezuzah, really. The mezuzah combines these two opposite forces. That's what it does. So in your mezuzah you have male and female. Bezel Shonim Yud Tlas Asvan Yud Vav Daled. The letter Yud could be made into three letters. So he says, etc. Vav and Seisa Shlemusa the Kol Sitrin. But in the middle of these three letters, Yud, Vav, and Daled, is the Vav. And the Vav actually has attributes, or it connects the Yud with the Daled. So he says again, that's why I said that I was playing the metaphor in my mind then about what a mezuzah, first of all, the box in which it sits is really in the form of the letter Vav. And also the scroll itself, when you scroll it, when you wrap it up and you're actually putting them all together, that is in the form of a vav also. It's just like a long cylinder. Ma'akev l'kol ruchi, kol ruchi. Well, excuse me. Ma'avid l'kol ruchin. It becomes a bridge for all of the ruchos. Beitalia mechamenusa. So in that bridge, which is the letter vav, that is where the amuna really fits. Ubir bezer rakia sham, so it says over there beside the shana bebe talia mechamenusa. So in that letter vav, that's where I'm learning it. Amuna depends on that. Pirish called mitzius zun. The fact that male and female can live together, all of that. Talia ba'os vav, it really depends, the whole thing, on the letter vav. Shal milui yud vav daled. Again, like I said, it puts the yud and the daled together via the vav. For call makam sheyesh b'chasada v'gevuras nikra mehumanusa. So any place you see that is called mehumanusa. So now we go down here a little bit further. You said v'chein rei b'sefer omer man. There's a sefer that al idra chazuta. He says v'kol makam sheyesh chasada v'gevuras nikra mehumanusa. It's called by that name Adkan. So really the root of these things is this, Rei Hemshek Divrei Zohar. So we're going to see how they get the Zohar Rakia, and we're going to see V'rei Ma Sheniz Boyer Sham. So there could be more over there. And we got through it. The camera's still working. I got the wire in a better position. I don't know. I hope so, God willing. All the best.